Did you know that people have been shooting themselves in the foot for more than 2,000 years? Did you know that firearms have been around since the 9th century? Well, there are some things you might not know about the history of firearms that will surprise you. So make sure to watch until the end so you don't miss anything. We'll cover the history of the first firearm, how it was invented, and some other fun facts along the way. Let's get into it. The first firearms were invented in China during the Song dynasty around the year 900 AD. They were called fire lances and were used by soldiers to shoot arrows coated in gunpowder. The invention of gunpowder is often credited to an alchemist named Bartholomew, who was trying to find a way to improve his health. He ended up creating a black powder that could be used in weapons. This made the Chinese military stronger, and they quickly began using fire lances in battle. The first recorded use of a firearm was in 904 AD, when the Song army used them to defeat the Lateran army in the Battle of the River. By the 13th century, firearms had become common in China and were being used all over the world. During this time period, cannons were also invented and became very popular in China because they could shoot bigger projectiles like rocks and steel balls. People would line up to watch these massive cannons being fired. They were so large that it took more than 100 men to move them. In 1277, Kublai Khan used cannons to help him capture the city of Baghdad. This is considered the first time that cannons were used in warfare. The Mongols were the first to use cannons as siege weapons. They would surround a city, then fire the cannons to break down the walls. Then they would ride their horses inside the city and kill everyone. Gunpowder eventually made its way to Europe in the 13th century through merchants and travelers. It's thought that Marco Polo brought back gunpowder from China to Italy, where it was then shared with the rest of Europe. When Europeans realized how powerful firearms were, they began developing their own versions of them. Hand cannons were developed around 1325, and these were much smaller than the cannons that were used on ships or in fortresses. They were about 6 inches long and could shoot a small ball about half an inch in diameter. But these weapons weren't very accurate and couldn't shoot very far. However, they were effective at close range. As technology improved, so did the accuracy and range of firearms. In 1500, a Spanish inventor created the arquebus, which was a type of musket that could shoot further and more accurately than previous weapons. This weapon had a long barrel and was mounted on a tripod. Soldiers would use these tripods to aim and fire at enemies. The arquebus was widely used in Europe during the 16th century, and it was one of the most important weapons of its time. Another important development in firearm history was the invention of the matchlock mechanism. This was a device that allowed a soldier to cock the hammer of a gun without having to hold the trigger. This made it easier for soldiers to reload their guns quickly, and it also made them more accurate because they didn't have to worry about holding the trigger steady while aiming. The matchlock mechanism was invented in Germany in 1515, and it quickly became the standard for many different types of firearms. One of the most famous early firearms is the wheel-lock pistol, which was invented in Germany in 1517. This weapon was much more reliable than the matchlock mechanism, and it was also safer to carry around because it didn't have a red-hot musket ball hanging out of its mouth. The wheel-lock pistol was expensive and difficult to manufacture, but it was still widely used throughout Europe in the 17th century. By the 17th century, firearms had become even more advanced. In 1609, a German inventor created the first repeating rifle, which could shoot multiple rounds without having to be reloaded. This was a significant improvement over previous rifles, and it made soldiers much more effective in battle. The repeating rifle was widely used in Europe and America during the 18th and 19th centuries. In the 1600s, pistols were also invented. These were small enough to be held in one hand and were used by both soldiers and civilians for self-defense. Pistols were typically loaded with several small lead balls, and they were fired by pulling a trigger. During the American Revolution, muskets were the main weapon used by soldiers on both sides. They were accurate for about 100 yards, but after that distance, they became less effective. Still, they were widely used throughout the war because they were relatively cheap and easy to manufacture. One famous musket used during the American Revolution was the Brown Bess. This was a British Army musket that was manufactured between 1722 and 1830. The Brown Bess was known for its smooth bore and its ability to shoot accurately for long distances. It was also relatively lightweight and easy to carry, which made it popular among soldiers. Today, there are all sorts of different firearms available. There are handguns, rifles, shotguns, and machine guns, just to name a few. There are also different calibers and makes, and each one is designed for a specific purpose. No matter what type of firearm you're interested in, though, you can probably find one that was manufactured in the United States. The U.S. is one of the largest manufacturers of firearms in the world. The country's first gun factory was founded in 1778, and today there are dozens of companies that produce all sorts of different firearms. Some of the most well-known brands include Smith & Wesson, Colt, and Winchester. These companies produce guns that are used by civilians for self-defense, hunting, and target shooting, as well as by law enforcement and the military. If you're interested in learning more about firearms, there are plenty of resources available. You can read books, articles, and websites to learn about the history and mechanics of guns. You can also watch videos that show you how to use different types of firearms safely and effectively. Now that you know a little bit about the history of firearms, what do you think? Are they fascinating inventions that have changed the course of history? Or are they dangerous weapons that should be banned? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. A Springfield Armory, the oldest operating manufacturer of military firearms in the United States, has announced that they will soon be selling a new type of AR-15 style rifle called the Hellcat. The strange thing about this rifle is that it comes equipped with a detachable magazine that holds not bullets, but rather foam darts. While the idea may seem silly at first, there is actually a lot of thought and engineering that has gone into this product. You see, the Hellcat is designed to be used as a training tool for new recruits in the military or law enforcement. The rifle is able to simulate the weight and feel of a real AR-15, but instead of firing live ammunition, it shoots soft foam darts that are safe for use indoors or in close quarters. This allows for realistic training scenarios without the risk of injury or death. But what if you want to use the Hellcat for target shooting or hunting? Well, there is actually a second version of the rifle that is designed for recreational use. This version comes with a detachable magazine that holds real bullets and can be used just like any other AR-15 style rifle. So, whether you are a law enforcement officer, a soldier, or just a hunter, the Hellcat may be the perfect rifle for you. With its realistic feel and function, it is sure to give you hours of enjoyment. So, if you are interested in purchasing a Hellcat, be sure to contact Springfield Armory soon. They are expecting the rifle to sell out quickly. This company has been making guns for over 200 years, and they have never seen anything like this before. Everyone at the company is excited about this project, and they can't wait to see what the public thinks. If you are interested in learning more about this new gun, be sure to visit the company's website and sign up for their email list. You will be the first to know when the rifle becomes available for purchase. Don't miss out on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.